Hey, welcome to Honest Trailers Commentaries. You know the show by now. We watch the other show and we talk about movies. There's Joe, there's Lon. If you stick around, there's deleted scenes. We'll talk about your comments if you got them, and we will tease next week's Honest Trailer, which should also be another good one. I don't have a script in front of me. Ryan, is there anything I'm supposed to plug?
No, we're all good. Sorry.
Plug free, baby. Unchained.
Yeah.
Born
to talk about whatever we want.
You get to promote one brand of your choice throughout the Honest Trailer Commentary. I will be shilling for the Ford F-150. Built Ford tough. Thanks, guys.
No plugs from me and my brother Dozer.
And let's see.
You guys like Skittles? They're good. Have some Skittles.
Skittles are nice.
I like them.
We've got A Christmas Story this week, which was a film that, you know, I wonder how much we pulled our punches because we know this is so beloved. Because I don't think any of us really love A Christmas Story.
I always assumed, and like, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, we can go around. I always kind of thought it was like a Jew thing, that I didn't love this movie because I didn't have that kind of Christmas growing up. Like, it wasn't like I was denied Christmas. Like, you get we were like a very strict religious household, but I also didn't have like a family that had beloved Christmas traditions and really made a big thing out of it because, not our bag.
Not our folk.
So I always assumed that just growing up that way meant that this movie didn't mean as much to me. Obviously, I saw it as a kid a bunch of times, but I just figured that was why it didn't mean as much to me. But now that I've grown up to be an adult, I found that a lot of other people, Jew and Gentile alike, all kind of feel that way, that it's like you're kind of, we all kind of have this movie in our collective mental library more than like we all love it.
If it's regional though, because, you know, between us, Danielle, John, Kevin, like we have no one from the Midwest. I think we have no Midwesterners, and this could be like a stocky, cheese-filled Midwestern.
Is it that great of a movie if you have to be from Indiana to appreciate it?
Well, it's like you have to be from California to like unironically like Sublime. You know, it's one of those things.
How dare you?
See, I disagree. I think A Christmas Story makes Midwesterners of all of us. I think this movie is beyond being good or bad or liked, and it just is. A Christmas Story is as much a part of you as is going home for the holidays and having to hear the same story about that one time in high school that your dad tells every year that you go home. And then you watch A Christmas Story, and then some relative gives you that little sack of gold foil chocolate coins in the little net. You know those?
Guilt?
You're describing Hanukkah guilt? That's ours. You can't have that one.
Yeah, don't appropriate our crappy chocolate wrap.
Yeah, that's our terrible chocolate that ends up tasting like the foil.
I'm appropriating your Jewish stuff. Yeah, I don't have a real.
You are a comedy writer.
Story, but yeah, I do own a bank. Yeah, I don't. It's A Christmas Story, man. I watch it every year. I don't know if you can have Christmas without it.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be even like to encounter this with fresh eyes. Like this most recent time watching, I noted how the narration, he kind of like, it's kind of the same beat over and over again, where he's just like investing this dumb childhood thing with so much extra significance and weight. Like, I couldn't believe my eyes. I was seeing it. It was really there. A present for me, you know? And it's just like, I never even noticed that beat before. It's just like, this movie just washes over you.
I think also, well, it has a certain timeless quality because we've seen it every year for our entire lives, but it also is kind of just, it's so of its time. And I feel like this movie, I hate to say it, but like, I think this would be a prime candidate to just like do a remake set in the 80s, like to Ready Player One this and be like, I really wanted an N64 or like a paintball gun or something like that. I really think that like you could totally make it better with like if you remade this a few decades later. Like the 30s are just, they were such a far remove from me growing up. I don't know.
In 1992, we got in the biggest pickle to get a Super Scope 6.
I mean, yeah, like that's the trade-off. It would be a lot more relevant, but you would lose that like rose-colored glasses nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, you think people aren't looking at
imagined
rose-colored glasses back on the 90s? Like, come on.
I guess, but part of the appeal, I think, of A Christmas Story is that it's so removed from our time. It's like this dream of what the past used to be.
Yeah, no,
and I think you couldn't get that for the 80s because we remember it.
A Christmas Story is that weird, like, blanket when you go to your grandparents' house, and that's the only blanket, and like it makes you sneeze, but you're also cold, but that's the only blanket. And Christmas Story is the only blanket. I think it speaks to how brilliant, how timeless, but also how brilliant the TNT plan to just play it for 24 hours every Christmas is, because you know every inch of this movie. So you can turn it on like at any point and just be like, oh, let's watch the rabbit thing real quick and watch like 4 minutes of A Christmas Story. But chances are they'll get you for at least like 10 minutes because you're like, oh, here comes soap.
And we comment on this in the trailer, like the fact that it's so episodic really plays into this too, that it is not really a big like through line movie. Like you get he wants the BB gun, but it's mostly, and then this is the thing that happened with my dad, and then this thing happened with the mall, and then
it's a good movie to like tune into and tune out of, like on a 24-hour loop.
A series of shorts all set in this same world.
But I do think like that also is the explanation for a big amount of its popularity. I think if you played, I don't know, Mixed Nuts on a loop on TBS or whatever, we'd all be quoting Mixed Nuts every year.
It does feature a delightful early Sandler performance. There
you go. All right, let's watch Honest Trailer for A Christmas Story. We'll have more to say as we go along.
Here it was. We were finally doing A Christmas Story.
Oh, joy of joys.
From the director of Porky's comes a Christmas classic you've seen 1,000 times by now. Fragile.
Must be
Italian.
I triple dog dare ya.
Oh, fudge. Wait, is this movie even good? Or do we just like it because we have the whole thing memorized? A Christmas Story. This holiday season, when everyone in your family starts yelling at each other, put on A Christmas Story and enter the warm confines of a nostalgia turducken. In a film that looks back fondly on the childhood the narrator looks back fondly on, that makes you look back fondly on watching it as a kid, and return to the American Midwest in the broke-ass 30s, where listening to the radio is considered fun.
I saw the rarest of birds, an interesting comment posted on this video, which was that this film actually, judging by like the broadcast of the Little Orphan Annie, which was, I guess, a real radio episode, that this takes place in 1940, and that the supposition was that perhaps this was the happiest Christmas of his life because the next Christmas would have been World War II, and that was like after that, he became a man and like.
He was sent to Germany.
He was little Ralphie got his gun and enlisted. He lied about his age.
Yeah, they made that sequel about the summer, but this is what it should have been, just on the beach at Normandy.
Saving Private Ralphie.
Yeah,
a D-Day story.
Yeah,
cool. Well, there you go. Just some food for thought.
We discussed this sort of the little behind the scenes because I believe the Gene Shepherd stories are about his childhood in the 20s. So like they fudged some of the era purposefully here to like move it forward. I don't know why. Too many flappers in the original.
Yeah, no one would understand if they used Studebakers instead of Oldsmobiles like that.
Right. So it's not exactly when he would have actually been a child experiencing this kind of Christmas. It's like pushed a little forward.
They didn't have BB guns in the West Egg. 1930, I tell you.
This is also just
though, right?
fodder for people who say that they don't make original ideas anymore, because this is an adaptation of radio stories that got adapted into a short story collection that got adapted into a film. So, yeah, there's been one original idea, the Bible. Okay, keep going.
It was like
the broke-ass 30s, where listening to the radio is considered fun. You could still smack a kid around for laughs. And all the toys sucked. The real Great Depression, trying to have fun with a wagon full of Raggedy Anns. Hey, while I have you here, anyone want to sell me their PS5? Meet Ralphie, back before he got hot and executive produced Iron Man. Follow along on his single-minded quest to acquire a firearm and fight against America's only form of gun control, parents.
No, shoot your eye out.
As this little boy spends the entire film scheming for a gun,
I want an official Red Ryder Carbine Action 200 range-ball air rifle.
dreaming about a gun, and making up outlandish threats to justify owning a gun.
But if you do come back, you'll be pushing up daisies.
Is that what it feels like to be a Republican? Gather around
Pause.
for a film.
I love his. I think that his fantasy sequences are my favorite part of the movie. Mostly for his costume choices. Like he's dressed like a rhinestone cowboy.
Yes.
And yeah, when he does the like orphanage thing or whatever that fantasy sequence is in school, like yeah, I think that this movie is best when it does like flights of fancy and stuff because there is no plot otherwise.
Yeah, I mean the whole movie is just kind of like take this recognizable scenario and then like, wouldn't it be funny to view this from the perspective of this boy, you know, like doesn't always understand everything that's happening and has these kind of juvenile ideas. And so the fantasy sequences really play into that. Like now we're totally just getting his perspective instead of, you know, like the old man, like reminiscing about here's how I felt when I was 10 or whatever.
I mean, to me, like soap poisoning, that is like legitimately cute and funny when he has that whole thing about.
See, I think that's another thing about if this were in the 80s and it felt more relevant, people would get upset by stuff that's so out of time like that. Like that's child abuse. Whereas it's safe because it's in the 30s. It's like, that was like your grandpa. It was like a different time. You know, like we can enjoy the comedy of it without being concerned about.
Well, in my 80s remake, you don't have to keep the child abuse in my 80s remake. You're not going to like be hitting the kid with like a duck hunt gun, like or something. I don't know. Name another.
You're still washing his mouth out with soap. It's just that, you know, like pump action, hand soap from your sink.
Yeah, don't
They didn't have in the 30s.
Yeah,
even that's worse somehow.
It is.
Yeah, chugging that.
Yeah.
That is one way to stop coronavirus. Don't fact check me.
It's not. Listen, don't inject bleach and don't eat hand soap from your sink.
Keep going.
Gather around for a film that isn't really about family, or generosity, or Christmas, but more about crass materialism, survival, and the universal holiday message of stop snitching.
You ready to tell me? Ralph, do you know where Flick is?
There is a family in it though, and boy is this one hanging by a thread. Dad's got rage issues. Mom's on the verge of a nervous breakdown.
My mother had not had a hot meal for herself in 15 years.
And the little brother is a ball of anxiety and eating disorders held together by parkas.
Show Mommy how the piggies eat.
I can't put my arms down.
You just know they're about to shatter faster than a accidentally broken leg lamp.
You use up all the clues.
Well, first of all, she definitely broke that on purpose. But
yes,
was anyone else disturbed by the seemingly massive age difference between the two of them? He's like an old man. Maybe you just like lived harder in the 30s. But
well, I mean, Hollywood has still never recovered from the male actor is 40 or 50. And his female lead is 26. All of Tom Cruise's romantic interests are still like 20 years younger than him. They've never.
Yeah, but look, Tom. Not excusing the practice in principle, but Tom Cruise is an ageless-looking man, whereas that looks like Grandpa. And look at that old man.
Yeah, I mean,
his name in the script is the old man.
Yeah, I mean, Darren McGavin was like he had been Kolchak the Night Stalker already like a decade before this even came out. Like he was got to be pushing 60 by this point.
Well, yeah, it's the same with like King of Queens and sitcoms and stuff. You have the old schlub and their hot wife, and it just is. It just is. I will say though.
They are about 16 years apart. Darren McGavin was born in 22. Melinda Dillon was born in 39. So there you go, Spence.
Wow.
She's aging out, man. She's getting replaced with a lamp. Especially just, I don't know, this scene and watching a few of his highlights. I think the big reason this sticks around is they're all working overtime, man. Everyone in this movie is legitimately great. Just rewatching like the performances and stuff like that, it's almost like a disservice in a way to be like, it's popular because it's been here forever. Like, everyone is really funny in this. The dad's amazing. He's in like the funniest comedic stage play of all time in this movie. Not a finger and bumpuses and, you know, all that stuff. Everybody's just firing all cylinders, I think, is one of the reasons why it continues to hold up.
It is good child actor performances. I do like Peter Billingsley, and I think Ralphie's funny.
Ralphie's funny. Ralphie's legitimately funny.
He annoys some people, not me. I think that lying there when he like plays dead is a great beat.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. I'll grant you good performances.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I don't think any of us are saying it's a terrible movie. It's just, it is what it is. It's kind of hokey. It's got a very kind of sitcom sensibility. And I think that in the era when it came out, there were a lot of film comedies that still had that sensibility. Today, it feels a little throwback. But I don't think it's a terrible movie. I just think it's an okay movie that somehow has inserted itself into all of our lives forcibly, and there's no going back now.
Well, I think that's why you hit the nail on the head, though, because it's that throwback feel is why it's that weird Norman Rockwell Christmas feeling where like so much of Christmas itself feels like a throwback sometimes. You know, it's like,
but weirdly, it doesn't have the throwback morality of like a Norman Rockwell Americana thing. Like, it is really just about getting the toy you want, and then like your dad freaking out and your parents' marriage falling apart, and then like dogs steal your turkey.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that, like, you know what's really important, like the family and like the meaning of Christmas. It's about like Ralphie's loss of innocence, if anything.
It doesn't do the Christmas Vacation at the end where like bring it all back to the reason for the season.
I mean, I've got to assume when this came out, people were like, this is subversive.
It subverts expectations. This is the Last Jedi of Christmas movies.
It could really use Linus coming out on stage at the end and just explaining to us in plain language why we celebrate Christmas.
Hey, guys, I don't know if you knew this, but It's a Wonderful Life is not the funny romp that you remember. It's actually very dark.
And he almost kills himself in that movie? Yes, that's what it's about. Thank you, headline, for clearing that up.
All right, let's keep going.
You use up all the glue on purpose.
Bask in the warmth of Gene Shepherd's radio voice.
The greatest Christmas gift I had ever received or would ever receive.
As you revisit his favorite Christmas, where he got attacked in the streets, had a mental breakdown, ate soap, got betrayed by his favorite show, got kicked in the head by Santa, finally got what he wanted for Christmas, and immediately shot himself in the face with it.
Oh my God, I shot my eye out!
Dear Lord, if this is the happiest time of his life, I'd hate to see what happened the other years. Did he have to work in a coal mine? Did Krampus get him?
I like that we had the coal mine clip ready to go from last week.
Hold up.
So, Lon, you've seen Joe too, have you seen the sequel? There's a sequel to this movie?
It's called My Summer Story, I believe.
Yeah.
I have seen it, but not recently.
Okay.
It was randomly on HBO once when I was like in high school, I think. We had like an HBO trial and it was on.
Sounds bad.
Yeah, it had to have been, right? It's about like a tops competition, like spinning tops. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's Charles Grodin takes over the role of the dad, I believe, from Darren McGavin in it. And yeah, it's a little bit like this where they all kind of have their own. I think it's more like by family member. Like dad has a storyline, mom has a storyline, Ralphie has a storyline.
Mom's hooked on laudanum.
And it's like it's only, I think it's 41, so it's like the next year, but the summer.
Okay.
So still before
Ralphie went to war.
The day which will live in infamy, which caused Ralphie to immediately enlist. Yeah.
Ralphie, get your gun. All right, keep going.
Join the European
It's just
theater.
him behind enemy lines in Germany in the rabbit suit.
So whip up some Ovaltine and enjoy a movie that's like old cinematic wallpaper. It's chipped and faded and we should probably replace it. But
Do they still play that scene on TV?
Familiar,
Yep.
and we'll never get
nice.
around to trying something new. 'Cause sure, you could watch Elf if you want to laugh out loud, which also has Peter Billingsley in it. Or throw on Netflix to see whatever random word the algorithm decided to pair with Christmas. But you know you'll just tune it to TNT or TBS and watch A Christmas Story yet again. Stuck in the same loop of
Is that one real? A trash truck Christmas? Did we put that in as a joke?
I wonder which ones Kevin made up himself. Some of them are definitely real because I've seen some of those.
I never paused this long enough to look. I just assumed these were all real, but a trash truck Christmas, Kevin.
Look it up.
I've seen Christmas Chronicles. I've seen Christmas Prince.
Yeah, Bad Moms Christmas is real. Christmas
I've seen Operation Christmas Drop on there as an option. Yeah. Christmas Break-In?
It's Rio, baby.
No.
When Santa crash lands in the junkyard on Christmas Eve, Hank, Trash Truck, and their animal friends all have a hand in rescuing the
okay. There's a kid series on Netflix called Trash Truck where it's a kid and his best friend who is a trash truck. It's just, it must be their Christmas special. That is true. But why wouldn't they? You would think the thumbnail would be colorful.
That looks like a true crime documentary.
Geez, it looks like this Christmas they found 12 bodies.
They found a torso in the junkyard.
Yeah, and like the mystery of DB Cooper's trash truck.
Weirdly, even though he's a cartoon, he looks like a Michael Bay Transformers design. I don't know.
Yeah, he could be in Bumblebee for sure.
Yeah.
I like, I saw, because I do the newsletter, so I saw the trailer for this, and the opening is just the kids like, my mom, I'm going to go play with Trash Truck, and she's like, bye, sweetie, and it's like, that's negligent. Like, you don't trust your kid with a sentient garbage truck. You don't know that truck.
She was already clearly letting him play in the dump, so I mean, not Mom of the Year.
Like, it's a little bit of like the Back to the Future, like, how did this child even befriend this garbage truck? How did they meet? What were the circumstances?
Well, tune into Trash Truck Origins. I'm sure you'll be watching it soon.
It's going to be gritty.
Maybe
that's non-sponsor for the episode. Is Trash Truck.
Watch Trash Truck.
Next season will be a Ford F-150 built Ford Tough. I need a new car, guys. Come on, let's crowdfund this baby.
Never. Always Ford F-150.
All right, keep going.
Decided to pair with Christmas. But you know you'll just tune it to TNT or TBS and watch A Christmas Story yet again. Stuck in the same loop of conflict and catharsis you can never escape from, no matter how old you get. I guess it is a movie about family after all. Starring Fudge Dredd, The Players Ball, Flagpole Licka, I Love Lamb, I Hate Lamb, Billy Bob Thornton, and yellow eyes are a sign of liver disease. He should really get that checked out.
So pause. As it happens fairly often these days, we'll be recording the script for the Honest Trailer, and John will be like, "Yo, I'm like good buddies with Scott Farkas." Like, of course you are.
I was like, wondering how this one worked out. Like,
he just threw it out there. Like, he's like an indie filmmaker. Like, I did some stuff for him where we go way back, and bravo, we thought he was just going to read the comments, but then I think Kevin had the idea like he could do like a back and forth, and so it goes. Sometimes these things come together at the last second. That's the story.
There you go. That's how Scott Farkas is in the Christmas.
Scott Farkas. I'm sorry, I'm looking up his name. Zack Ward. His name is not Scott Farkas. He's an adult and he has a name.
And he has yellow eyes in real life, which is great.
Yes. Much appreciated, Zach, and thank you, John, for the hookup. And you can check out Zach's stuff. He's on Cameo as Darth Farkas, so get a good Christmas cameo for your loved one.
We'll link in the description of the Honest Trailer if they want to link to it. I'll put it in I'll try to put it in the commentary description as well.
Yeah. Now you too can be viciously bullied. Wouldn't want that.
Yeah. All right. Keep going.
Scott Farkas? How did you get in here?
I heard you were slapping your soup suckers together, talking some trash about me, calling me some names.
That wasn't me, honest.
Do you want atomic wedgie? How about a purple nurple when made my famous Indian arm burn?
Hey, ow!
Oh, how about I just grab your own hand? Why are you hitting yourself? Ow! You want me to stop? You better say it. You better say it.
Uncle! A Christmas sketch show. Jerk Farkas. Stupid bully. Setting aside that Ralphie probably wrote a rant about his gun, the C+ is probably because he misspelled Christmas.
Chismas. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Them's a Christmas story for you.
It is.
Final thoughts about it before we go into any outtakes or anything else? That's all there is to say. It's a sketch
couldn't
show.
believe it. There I was discussing a Christmas story.
It was the worst year of my life.
It was the best commentaries we'd ever done.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Like if you haven't liked yet. We got some new videos on the Fandom Entertainment thing. Sasha Pearl Raver, an old fave, did a 3-part series on how movies are made, specifically big blockbuster Marvel movies, the pre-production, production, post-production. So check those out. We posted those over the weekend, which is nice. Mm-hmm. And you're doing a show, Joe. Would you like to tell the people about it?
Oh yeah, I am. Fandom just published our first RPG book, Cortex, which I have here. It's a very pretty book and a very cool system, and we're launching a show to support it, which starts on Thursday. It'll be a live play show along the lines of like Critical Role or some of the stuff I used to do. He Left Dead and Pencils and Parsecs and stuff like that. It's a great cast. Vanessa Gritton from SJU, Elisa Pearl, and some really cool folks from Fandom are going to be doing this. We'll be doing like probably different stories every month and stuff like that, because the cool thing about Cortex is that it's really sort of like a foundation or like a box of Legos, so you can be like, what kind of thing do I want to do? So the first one we're doing is a setting called Hammerheads, and it's basically like disaster movie stuff. So think like San Andreas in 2012 and Armageddon. It's gonna be super, super fun. I'm playing like a Fox News pundit that thinks that the United States shouldn't be funding this climate control emergency response team and just wants to end it. So that's gonna be fun. And that launches Thursday at 3, and we've got a link in the description. If you've never watched something like this before, it's basically like an improvised like audio drama. Super fun.
All right. Well, check that out. It's called Roll and Keep, I'm told. So roll and keep. Roll them if you got them. Keep them if you have them. Thursdays, 3 p.m., like Joe said. All right.
Do you remember GURPS, Joe, from the 90s? That was also a like platform on which you could build your own role-playing games. It's like a cool idea to bring that back. I like it.
Yeah. Sweet. We have outtakes. Let's see what they were.
Hey.
And making up outlandish threats to justify owning a gun. In what the NRA calls a feel-good holiday classic for the whole family. You could still smack a kid around for laughs. And openly laugh at Asian immigrants' accents while they try to accommodate your family. They're different than we are. Merry Christmas. Starring.
They were like going above and beyond to give them a Christmas after theirs was ruined, and they're like, they sound funny.
They don't say
this family sucks.
Yeah, a little bit.
But fits with the rest of the movie of a family who kind of sucks. Anyway.
It definitely feels like rewatching it. I felt like The Simpsons, in particular, drew some key inspiration from this family and like the specific kind of ways that they suck.
That's interesting,
especially when you were pointing out the like mom's barely hanging on by a thread. Like she's got a lot of like Marge Simpson frazzled, barely holding it together mom energy. And
plus, they can both get it.
Exactly. All right, moving on.
Ralphie, get your gun. Wreck-It Ralphie. All I want for Christmas is shoot. BB King. It keeps groaning and groaning and groaning. Randy. Raising dope. Worth it. Working the pole. Gamp. Imminent death of a salesman. Father knows best. American Dad. This means something. And Bully Coyote. Okay, Boomer, the movie. A Very White Christmas. The Blunder Year.
Ta-da. All right. Good times. What did y'all have to say about it? Adam Hulbert writes, so does it confirm the movie is about Epic Voice Guy's childhood? I guess if it was a crossover with Scut Farkus, then perhaps, yeah.
Maybe he was just from the same neighborhood and was also bullied by Scut Farkus.
Maybe our new canon can be that Epic Voice Guy suspects that what's the narrator in A Christmas Story's name again?
Ralphie?
No, the actual
Gene Shepard.
Yeah, maybe Epic Voice Guy suspects that Gene Shepard is actually his father.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I can see that.
Confirmed.
But both have epic voices, so.
I think Scut Farkus is just a dimension hopping, like he's a multiverse capable bully. Like
into the Scutverse.
Whenever nerds need noogies or whatever, he appears.
That's right.
Stuffs you into a locker. It's terrifying. All right, SG Rapness writes, what other movies should be played 24 hours for reasons? That's interesting.
Like holiday movies or just movies, just generally?
I mean, I think it's a gimme, but Independence Day on July 4th, 24 hours. Like,
oh, yeah, there you go.
That makes sense.
I
think that's another one where you can be like, oh, let me just watch this 5 minutes before I walk out the door. I know this 5 minutes. Yeah.
I feel like we all sort of agree Planes, Trains is the ultimate Thanksgiving movie. So that would be another one that all day Thanksgiving Day, you should just do the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles marathon.
Halloween, you got to go for a variety of reasons, the Garfield Halloween special.
Yeah, okay.
One, because
it's
only 10 minutes long, and so you get that many more viewings in a 24-hour.
The Garfield Halloween special was a full half hour, was it not?
Yeah, it's a full half hour.
It's a full half hour. I believe there's a full half hour of action there.
Yeah.
Well, I would replace.
They end up on like an island or something. Anyway,
there's pirate ghosts.
Yeah, there's pirate ghosts.
The one thing I'm not is a scaredy cat. Sorry, I really like that special.
Clearly, damn, got to revisit that one. I think I would like to replace A Christmas Story on the 24-hour loop with. This is recency bias because I saw it last week, but let's replace it with Go, which also takes place on Christmas and has like, it's like 4 vignettes. They kind of intersect. You can
technically a Christmas movie.
A Christmas movie. You can just watch the one where like Jay Moore is the gay undercover cop that gets in too deep with William Fichtner and then leave when Katie Holmes almost ODs or whatever. Do
you think you add the narrator into?
Yeah, I was gonna say I was about to buy ecstasy from Timothy Oliphant.
The rave where we got into the biggest pickle.
Yes,
I want the Ralphie cut of Go to be played 24 hours.
And Breckenmeyer got very sick off of the buffet shrimp.
You put the Scut Farkus hat on Timothy Oliphant for the apple on my elbow scene.
6-pack abs. I swear to God, he had 6-pack abs.
Do we really believe that Tate Diggs would want to hang out with us for a whole weekend? I guess here he was. I believe Tate Diggs is hanging out with those other dudes. I don't know. Tate Diggs seems like he's from a cooler friend group.
Much cooler
somehow he ended up in the Breckenmeyer bunch, but I'm not sure I buy that.
What do you want for Christmas, Katie Holmes? How about a nice Tracy Lord CD?
Bravo, you guys. All right, we can't top that. Let's tease him with next week, which is also a movie that's sort of in its own time and place, out of time, if you will. So yeah, there's your clue. I hope you enjoyed A Christmas Story and Honest Trailer Commentaries, because we will be back with more next week. Thanks, guys, and thanks everyone for watching. Merry Christmas.